Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So, guys, many people are familiar with the Nazca lines, which are these giant symbols and representations of many different things that were drawn for what purpose? Well, we don't know. Were they trying to get the attention of people flying by in the sky in ancient times? Many ancient alien theorists think that's exactly the case. These things can only be seen for what they are from the air. And very close to this, as we see Nazca over here, is a place called Ica, right by it. And Ica is a place where they discovered a lot of engraved stones. And these have caused a lot of uproar because so many of these stones are depicting dinosaurs and people at the same time. And one could argue, how would people of an older culture know about dinosaurs in the first place? Did they stumble on their bones? Well, I mean, how do you have all these depictions that's so lifelike, and including depictions of dinosaurs eating people? We do have a depiction of the monkey, which there is a very similar monkey represented over at Nazca, as well as this bird, very similar to one over at Nazca. So there's interesting depictions of a human heart that's very, very lifelike. And so these stones were supposedly stumbled on by a gentleman there. And, the story here is a very interesting one because it's one of which it's admitted that they're forged and then later recanted and said, nope, I just did that to avoid being arrested by the authorities, because the authorities came over and basically kind of, wanted to stifle this and not let this out. And again, in Peru too, a lot of Latin American countries, people can get lost in the jail system. As here we're seeing a representation of a dinosaur, looks like taking the bite out of somebody. More, I mean, it's amazing the accuracy of these. So how did they do it? Here you're seeing brain surgery being done. And there is a skull that shows that somebody did do brain surgery and survived it because of the new growth over and around the edges. So you got to wonder, what is our true history here? And so this one's being estimated to be dated between 500 and 1000 AD, and again depicting dinosaurs and specific dinosaurs. As we see here, all the familiar favorites: T-Rexes, Brontosauruses, Stegosauruses, Triceratops, pterodactyls. It looks like it's like either holding him or coming down to get him. A lot of depictions of dinosaurs taking a chunk out of people too. This is pretty wild stuff in here. He's riding a dinosaur. And this looks like a T-Rex gonna go chomp, chomp, chomp. And there's the monkey and the bird. Now this one looks like Baphomet to me, doesn't it? Hand up, hand down, horns. So is this an elaborate hoax? Interesting, here you see actual fossil skin circles, very, of a dinosaur, very accurate as far as the depiction there. So that's pretty interesting, as we see more dinosaurs that are obviously very hungry, eating people. So it hit me before a long time ago when we hear of the tale of giants eating people biblically. I thought, well, what if they were talking about dinosaurs? What if those were the giants, like the human giants were a variety of different human giants. We know about the red-headed ones. But what if this is what they were talking about? Curious, isn't it? Look at all these different stones representing dinosaurs. And here's another one flying by. Riding one. Very curious. And this is not quite the AMA staff, but you see a serpent going around a staff that has kind of like a chalice up on the top. Curious. And more dinosaurs. So, can they be independently authenticated? And so they were. People analyzed them several different times. And it appears that there could be some that are authentic, and there could be some that maybe are forgeries. Basically by different means, including, the amount of buildup of basically material, kind of like rust-like material on the stones themselves. So they're andesite river rocks. They're rounded andesite river rocks, sourced locally in southern Peru. So the question is, though, if this one gentleman who did all this, could he do all this? Because there's like over 11,000 of them. Over 11,000. Could one person do all this? Or would it take a team working for years and years and years to put out this quantity? There's such things as mermaids on some of these. Very, very interesting. And as we see, they were found in the 60s in ravines and caves near Okakuji, neighboring village of the city of Ica, just a stone's throw from Nazca, with the Nazca lines. The same places where the skulls of extraterrestrial people were found, those paracas. This is the same area again with the elongated skulls. And as I was saying, to me, I think Peru might be just about the most interesting place in the world when it comes to all these oddities. And then we look at the Sumerian myths and legends, and supposedly the Anunnaki had a base there. So it's really, really curious. The skulls are on display at the Ica Regional Museum and are unique for their flat and elongated forms. Similar skulls have been found all over the world, like, for example, in Siberia, northern Iraq, Egypt, Malta, and even Vanuatu in the Pacific Ocean. So a farmer named Basilio Ustruya first found these stones. He hauled sacks of them to market where they were sold to tourists. And this piqued the interest of archaeologists who began investigating the origin of the stones. Word reached Peruvian authorities, who then, like true Illuminati, carried out a campaign to bring about a stop to the revelations. And when threats didn't work, he was thrown in jail, where he eventually signed a declaration stating that the stones were a false find and that he made them himself. But, that was pretty much an impossible statement that could not hold true when studies proved the intricate details of the carvings. But it was a big relief among archaeologists around the world because they didn't want it all being rewritten. So nobody knows exactly how many stones there are. Presumably, this is saying over 100,000. The stones are of andesite, which is solid volcanic stone, nearly impossible to engrave by hand labor. And the University of Madrid studied the engravings and explained that it's highly probable that they were carried out over 100,000 years ago. The stones were found among fossils of millions of years old. So, what do you guys make of all this? Very curious, to say the least. What is our reality? What really is our reality? It's pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. What, gosh, I hope that we get the truth in our lifetimes, because, the truth is probably going to just blow our minds absolutely away. What are your thoughts, Cindy?
Well, I think that it's a history thing and that they wanted to have some kind of record of what they were seeing, and this is their record. That's what they did. And I kind of feel like they used some sort of a laser type thing to make these are really cool. That's what I think.
Laser engraving, that would make sense. That's pretty interesting. And Peru again, that's on my bucket list. I want to go to Peru. There's just too much stuff to explore there. Too much stuff. So I wanted to share this with you guys. Thank you, Larry, from Texas, for the idea. He said, hey, you didn't do one of the Ica stones yet. So we did one to cover it. Tell me what you guys think, as always, as we keep delving deeper and deeper into the mysteries. And deeper you go, the more interesting it gets. So my friends, as always, like, share, subscribe, join us on Patreon and Ko-Fi. And thank you for your support. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.